Alright everybody, hello and welcome to my channel. I was not initially going to do this video, but you guys really been putting it on me to follow up this review on the salted line Sears housing for this Sony a6xxx a6 cameras. I have the housing right here. No, this is the old one. I know I can't trick you guys, because you are probably as interested and invested in these products as I am. So, I need to turn back the light. There we go, we need some good lighting for this. Okay. This salted line housing. Okay, let's start. I brought this camera to tropical Indonesia and did around 42 dives with it. I'm home, it didn't flood. Camera is rolling right now, and overall experience, I'm really happy about it. Pros of this housing, of course, is that it has interchangeable port system. So I can shoot sharks and Napoleon wrasses and big animals with this 6-inch dome, and also I can shoot, as you can see here, I'm pretty much into the world of macro photography. I can shoot animals that are super tiny with the macro port with a 90mm macro lens. Okay, first and foremost, the housing, it's very well built, I think. There are some issues with the buttons on the back. When it comes to the movie button, you guys will, if you buy it, probably have to rebind the movie button ASAP. But I don't think that you can blame the Sea Frogs or the manufacturer for that, because the movie button on the a6xxx camera is on the very edge of the camera, on a very weird angle, and it's so tiny. So I don't think that we can blame the manufacturer of the housing for that. What you guys need to do when you experience that problem is that you're gonna need to rebind the movie button. And I did rebind the movie button to the erase button, and then it's all good. You start the video with an erase button, and you're not gonna have any more issues. Those buttons here, that is used for pressing the wheel, they are a bit they are not super accurate. I mean, they work for me 95% of the time, but you know, those 5% when you push them, and it's a bit annoying. Otherwise, very good. And now I'm gonna go to the piece that you guys all want to hear about. The one here in the mystery box, it's screwed on top here. It's the VPS-100, the vacuum pump system, and I use this for all of my 42 dives. That's correct. And what makes the debates of this thing is that on the manufacturer's website it says something like, don't use this piece underwater, or manufacturer doesn't recommend you to use this, or something like that. That's super weird, you know. I mean, you're not gonna have a vacuum pump just to see if the O-rings work, right? You want to have a vacuum pump so that you have no fog inside the housing when you're down there on your very valuable time. You don't want the fog, and therefore you have the vacuum pump system. So that's a question that you guys have been asking me, and I am here with the answer. I used this for all of the dives. It worked really well. I did put some more silica grease on the O-rings of this piece as well. Everybody should do that from time to time. O-rings are a bit vulnerable and needs to be taken care of. Otherwise, very good. Really happy with the vacuum pump system. It gives you this very safe feeling that it's good, everything is alright, no fog, no leaking, and also it looks like, you know, a little bit top of the edge that you have a vacuum pump system, because that is something like those high-end housings usually have, and not some of the cheaper ones. I'm not saying this is one of the cheaper ones. You stack up some dollars with all the ports and everything, but it's a very economic investment. I mean, compare this to the Nauticam made of aluminum or something. You have to pay 10 times the price for this kit. So yeah, that's it when it comes to the housing. Now let's get to the ports. This port I use for the Sigma 16mm wide-angle lens. It works really well. No problems to unscrew it, to change ports. It takes a couple of minutes, but no problem, all good. I can recommend this port, this wide-angle port, 6-inch dome, also from c4x Macon. And you guys, Macon, c4x, by the way, you need to sponsor my ass, you know, because I'm doing this review for you guys. Yeah, and now I'm gonna shit on you guys a little bit. Yeah, that's right, because this port here is the port for the 90mm macro lens. This piece, this dime, this right here, this is one of the best macro lenses in the world. It's absolutely spectacular. It's really good. But the Salted Line c4x port, this one, does not have the focus ring, so you can't manually operate this lens underwater, and you have to rely on the autofocus. And the autofocus, of course, is great with the newer Sony cameras. But when you're down there shooting macro, you're laying on your belly, and you need to get this narrow depth of field, and you need it to hit the eye on a shrimp, for example. This is really hard to do with autofocus. Of course, you can use the spot meter. Not the spot meter. What am I saying? The spot focus, and choose where you're gonna have the focus. But with those buttons underwater, it's not that viable, to be honest, to do. So what I need you guys to do at Macon c4x is produce a port, just like you did for the a7 III and a7 II camera housings, a port for the 90mm macro with a focus ring. You hear me, guys? A focus ring. Yeah, because I need those eyes, you know, on those little tiny creatures. I have an example as well, where it's very usable. I'm a big fan of the super macro world. In some of the tunicates, the sea squirts, there are species living. Amphipods, for example. Ladybugs, they are typically called underwater, and they live inside those tunicates. And this is super tiny, and I need to have the focus right there, right now. And I did manage a couple of times to autofocus shoot them, but it's so much job. It's so much job, and you guys leave us, the customers, hanging when you don't have this feature for such a pricey but amazing glass as the 90mm actually is. So c4x, get your ass together, make a focus ring for the a6 Salted Line series 90mm macro port, and then a lot of the customers will be happy. Otherwise, I'm very happy with the housing. I brought it down. This is important that I don't forget. How deep did I bring the housing? The housing is viable to 40 meters, it says, and my maximum depth was 35, 30, 36, something like that. I've been on the bad end of the limits. I actually have one beside me here. This one is a Olympus Tough Tracker that is sealed for, I think, now I forget it, 30 meters, yeah. And when I went to this place here, the beautiful island of Siparan, I brought this to 35, 34, something like that, because there were some crazy mobile arrays, the devil rays, and it flooded. It actually didn't really flood, but the screen did take enough damage so that I hardly can use it anymore. So respect those depth limits. Don't extend what the manufacturers recommend. It can be very, very pricey, and with this type of gear that we're talking about here, you're not gonna do it, alright? So keep that in mind, even if scalloped hammerhead cruising by and like waving to you, like, come on, follow me down a little bit, yeah, let's go. You're not gonna follow, because don't go too close to the limits. Yeah. What else can I say? The a6xxx camera drains a lot of battery when making movies in 4K. So bring many batteries on a diet trip, bring a charger that can charge many batteries, have a lot of silica grease so you can put it on the O-ring every night before you go to bed or something. Check the O-rings, have a towel close all the time so that you don't have any drops inside the housing. And enjoy diving. I hope this review was to some help for you guys. Yeah, that's it. And make on Sea Frogs, if you don't sponsor my ass, at least make a focus ring for the 90mm macro port. Thank you.